Hi, I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
Well, we're standing on West Broadway in the Kitsilano area, and notably less traffic, Jim.
That's right, Lita. The new norm, of course, and we're trying to follow that. You may see that we are standing as far apart as we can for the introduction to the show. That is the social distancing, and that's what we're doing.
We are doing that, but you'll notice some of the segments in this episode, we weren't doing that because they were filmed quite a few weeks ago prior to this new norm.
That's right. So you will see a segment or two where we are practicing what is now the new norm, but as Lita said, other segments where we were not because it wasn't required. Okay.
Well, Jim, let's get right to Our City Tonight. We are in South Vancouver at Lab Distilling. Love this place. We're here with the founder and distiller of Lab Distilleries, and we want to talk and jump right into it. You're a craft spirit maker. Craft has been thrown around that word a lot. Let's analyze that a little bit.
So craft in a lot of ways, oftentimes is just used as a marketing tool, and it's sort of a buzzword that's used quite often. But in terms of craft distilling in BC, it is actually a specific term. It's specific to our license. And what that means is that we have to produce using only BC grown raw materials, so BC agriculture to produce our spirits. And we have a cap on how much we can produce. So there's a few other little restrictions on there, but basically it keeps us to being a small producer and doesn't allow us to get to be these massive multinational conglomerate. We can just kind of keep it
wonderful.
small.
And I love that you use local ingredients and you use all the traditional kind of, I'm not going to say brewing, that's my typical thing to say, you're distilling.
Oh, we do both. We brew, we distill, we kind of go the whole range.
Right. And you know what, I want to just mention too, you're very quick to do shout outs to all the people that supported you getting started, your friends and family. It really is kind of a family friends business. But we are here to talk about kind of your newest project. You've been working on it a long time, but it is now coming to fruition, and that's what we have in front of us. And you're going to give us a little Whiskey 101.
Yeah, so basically whiskey is sort of my passion from the beginning. I love whiskey, and I've always wanted to produce a fantastic whiskey, but it's a long time coming. You have to do a minimum of 3 years aging on an oak barrel, so it's going to take a little bit of time. And not only that, but when you're producing your small producer, you have to be able to have enough product to put away and just sit on and not sell and not have any income coming off of it.
And a lot of people don't understand it completely. They want to get started in this, so you are the guy.
So yeah, so there's a lot of people are confused. There's so many different types of whiskey out there, and a lot of people are very confused by it. There's a lot of nuance and detail you can know, but the first thing you need to know is any whiskey is a grain spirit that is going to be aged for a minimum of 3 years on an oak barrel. Beyond that, you have different things like Scotch, which are more regional based. Scotch and Irish whiskey depends on where they're made, obviously. We have rye whiskey, which is going to be using rye grain. You have bourbon, which is going to be using more corn. And there's all very specific regulations and rules onto what can be called what, depending on how you produce it, what barrels they go in, where it's produced, all those sorts of things. So,
and you're focusing on?
So we're making a single malt whiskey. This is going to be sort of more of a Scotch style, but being that we're in Canada, we can't call it Scotch. So, but what we're doing, so we're starting with 100% single malt. We are running through a pot still with an open flame, so we get this nice, rich, toasty characteristic. And then we're aging for 3 years on these, right behind us here, we've got our, these are ex-bourbon quarter casks. So they've had bourbon on them for 5 years, and then they come to us, they're already seasoned, they've got a bit of flavor into them. We put our whiskey in there, and it becomes sort of a really rich and complex flavor.
Now that's one of the rules, the casks actually have had to have something in them.
Yeah, so particularly for the style that we're doing, for Scotch specifically, it has to be in a used barrel or a seasoned barrel, whereas bourbon specifically has to be in virgin oak. So it means it's oak barrels that have never had anything on them before, brand new. They're going to get a different flavor compound, different layers of flavor needing to come on there.
Interesting. So somebody who's starting out and just wanting to sort of dip their toe into liking whiskey, what would you suggest?
You know what? I would suggest first of all try to find the style that you like. Because the differences in flavor between bourbon, Scotch, and rye can be quite dramatic. Start trying a couple different ways there. See which flavor profile gets to where you want it to be. Oftentimes too, you'll find you get what you pay for. Some of the less expensive whiskeys out there, they're not going to be as palatable. They're not going to have those complex flavors. They're not going to be rich. They're not going to be as sort of these warming, beautiful spirits.
So with all these whiskeys, you can make some great cocktails.
Yeah, typically with a well-crafted premium whiskey, I don't usually like to cocktail it too much. I think it's enjoyed best on its own. But what we do have is we have some of our new make spirit, which is, it's technically not whiskey yet, but we use it to make some great cocktails. We've crafted a beautiful one that we're going to be releasing as a batch cocktail very soon. And yeah, we can talk about trying that a little bit as well.
Sounds excellent. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, I clearly won the draw on this segment. Of course, Scott was with Lita down in South Van at his Mad Lab Distillery. I'm now with Scott in East Van at the Whiskey 6 Barbecue. And I got to tell you, we got food and drinks, thanks to Mark, the owner here. But okay, Scott, you're going to pair some of your spirits, which are available here at the restaurant. What are you pairing, and what are you pairing it with?
So, you know what, Mark got such amazing food here. It's all beautifully free-range, organically grown, all kinds of delicious smoked meats. And you know what, to me, this is heaven. I can pair these foods so easily because you know what, they're going to go with so many things well, but we want to really accentuate some of the flavor profiles and some compounds we have here. So what we've done is, one of the new products we're offering at Mad Lab Distilling is our S'mores Old Fashioned. We're offering this pre-bottled, or we can make them to order. But what it is it's sort of a twist on the classic old fashioned using our new make spirit. And what we paired it today with is beautifully smoked chicken wings. The smokiness of that, the S'mores Old Fashioned, it's going to remind you of a campfire. It's going to give you that sort of feeling of, you know, we're outside. It's, you know, you're not having s'mores inside. You're having it out by the campfire. You have that the whole feel to it. So whenever I pair something, I always like to sort of pair the feeling along with just the natural flavor. So nice sweetness and a bit of smokiness with the Old Fashioned, and then it's going to pair just beautifully with those chicken wings. It's going to be nice.
And you were saying when we were at Mad Lab earlier that yeah, that's your thing now, where you're packaging these, you're bottling these pre-made components to the cocktail.
Basically premium craft cocktails. So these ones, this one we just released in the 50 ml format. It's ready to go. Just pour it over ice, serve, ready to go. Toasted marshmallow is always a plus. You know, it really helps with the garnish.
Yes.
Really just brings you in there. But yeah, it's a beautiful arrangement.
Okay, the dish, another dish that people are going to be fighting over between Lita and I, Scott, and our crew, of course. What do we got? This just smells so great for you folks watching home. And we're mixing it with what?
So this is Mark's smoked brisket, and it is fantastic. I mean, I can just see the beautiful fat glistening off of it. It's got that nice crust on the outside. It's nice and salty. It's nice and fatty. But when you have a dish like that, you really want to cut it with a bit of acidity. So what we've done here is, this is our barbarian lemonade. It's a bit of a twist on a Victorian lemonade that includes some of our gin, some lemon, a little bit of simple syrup, and then we've topped it with some of our blueberry kombucha. So you're going to get a bit of that acidity, and it's going to cut really nicely through this dish, and it's going to just make the whole experience really beautiful. You're going to have a chance to enjoy this, but it's not going to bog you down. It's not going to be too heavy. And then again, the cocktail, you know, you've got a big, rich, meaty meal to go with it. It's not going to be too light, too acidic. It's just going to be just right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, we've got one more dish and one more cocktail we're going to throw in, and we also have one more person joining us. It's Marc Wicks. He is the owner, executive chef here at Whiskey 6 Barbecue. Okay, Scott, I'm going to talk to you first. You tell us what you're going to pair of your product.
So what I've paired here, I mean, Mark's food is also fantastic. It's so easy and beautiful to pair with, but this one is just, nails it, brings it home. This is our Turkish-style raki. Raki is very similar to ouzo, strong aniseed flavor, but very low in sugar, a little bit higher in alcohol, and it pairs so beautifully with dessert, chocolate, the cream, all of these things together. It's just going to make this beautiful, beautiful finish to your meal. You're absolutely going to love it. It's going to make you feel a lot better by the end of the day, depending on how many you have, of course.
Great. Mark, I'll turn to you with this next question. Of course, the landscape is changing in our city with what we're going through, what the world is going through right now. What steps are you taking for your regulars who cannot come in and dine? What are you looking to do?
Well, we've always partnered with a few different meal delivery services. So we are available on a couple meal delivery services right now, as well as you can just go to our website, fill out a form, or contact us directly, and you can do meals to go.
Excellent, excellent. Talk a little bit more about what you offer here as well, food-wise.
In terms of barbecue, what makes us quite unique is we're locally sourcing everything. So we're working with small farms and small ranches. All of our meats are organic and free range. We're working with small farmers for all of our produce. Our entire beer menu is all local East Van breweries, which is quite unique. And then when it comes to spirits, we work with distilleries like Mad Lab, which is absolutely fantastic, and other local distilleries.
Very nice. Scott, you're doing the same thing, where people can get to you if they can't come into their favorite bar or watering hole.
Yeah, we have, as well as a lot of our retail stores are doing delivery services, we do offer online sales as well. So if you want to order any of our products, be it our pre-made cocktails, our premium spirits, or our cocktail bitters. We are doing home delivery as well. Yeah, basically just trying to keep up with the current market and trying to make sure we can get the product to people when they need it. Yeah.
Excellent way to develop and change with the times. Okay, thanks to Scott from Mad Lab Distilling. And also thanks to Marc for having us in here at a wonderful, cool spot called Whiskey 6 Barbecue. Time to eat, guys.
Excellent. Cheers. Cheers.
This health and wellness segment is sponsored by NRX Black Oregano, combining high-potency antiviral black seed oil with wild oregano oil and immune-enhancing vitamins A and D.
We are on West Broadway in the Kitsilano area, and we're sitting in Divine Elements, which is a naturopathic wellness clinic, family wellness clinic, and we're with owners Dr. Nicholas Jensen and Dr. Sonia Jensen, who are business partners, but also husband and wife. It's great to have you.
Yeah, it's great to have you guys back, actually. It has been a while. We appreciate meeting with us. If you're watching at home, we've kind of spaced ourselves out a bit. Lita and I are observing social distancing, sticking with what is required nowadays, but we got to talk about some good stuff here.
We've got to talk about today strengthening and understanding our immune system. So my first question, I'll direct it to Dr. Nick. What does your immune system do?
Well, it's pretty remarkable. The immune system is a fascinating, very complex sequence of events, but essentially anything that's foreign to us is recognized as an antigen, and we have little things called antibodies inside of our lymphatic system and our gut and everything that actually binds to these antigens and decides what to do with that information. So sometimes we bring in other cells that eat up that complex, and other times we get signaling mechanisms to the rest of the body to decide how many troops to bring in to support, right?
Dr. Sonia, I want to ask you about a couple parts of your body when it comes to the immune system. Let's talk about your skin and your gut.
Yeah, so the skin is the first line of defense. So we have a microbiome on the skin, so certain bacteria that will defend against the foreign invaders. And then the gut is basically where 70% of our immune system sits. So this is where a lot of the action is happening, and that could be like food sensitivities, foods that we're taking in that are creating some inflammation, and now the immune system's coming in and tagging these antigens, like Dr. Nick was saying, so it gets activated here, and that's really why we have to focus on the gut health as well when we talk about immune.
So does a seasonal virus or seasonal cold cause the symptoms, Dr. Nick?
Well, it's actually just when that complex happens, it's a signaling mechanism to the rest of the body. And so how it processes information is usually through inflammation. So now some of us will have more aggressive symptoms and some of us won't have symptoms much at all. But those symptoms are really going to be unique to someone's strength and ability to respond.
So does everyone get the same symptoms? I'll direct that right back to you.
Yeah, so I mean the symptoms can be a little different for different people, but I mean there might be a typical strain of a virus or bacteria that tends to cause a certain symptom set, which could be runny nose, again inflammation in the upper respiratory passageways, it could be a cough, it could be fever, it could be some version of that. Not everyone gets all those symptoms necessarily, but it could be a mixture of some different symptoms.
Dr. Sonia, either dispel or support this myth, this statement that if you have a healthy immune system, does that mean you won't catch a seasonal flu or a cold?
I think your body will just respond differently. So if you strengthen your immune system, the viruses, the bacteria, the mold, all the environment is still there. We can't avoid the environment, but we can strengthen it up so that the reaction to it is a little bit different than somebody that maybe isn't working on their immune system.
And so a question for Dr. Sonia is, do we have to catch viruses?
Well, what it does, it actually allows our immune system to exercise. Like, we need to give it a little bit of support in a sense that it has to have that experience to create adaptability. So when the next thing comes in, it's ready for it.
And the beautiful thing with that is that our immune system is so intelligent that it can create memory. And so it can know when something came in, it knows what to do with that information when it comes back. And so the message always is, how do you really upregulate or support someone's innate immune system wherever possible?
Nick, I'll stay with you. Can you help your army of flu fighters with diet?
Well, absolutely. I mean, we know that sugar is a direct suppressant of our immune activity. It's communicating to increase the proliferation of certain microbes in our GI system that are making us more prone to toxins, stressors, and whatnot in our environment. So yeah, looking at diet is a huge part of looking at how to build your immune integrity.
So sticking on diet, Dr. Sonia, what can we do? Can we boost our immune system?
Absolutely. So the way I talk about it with my children, we have the minions, you have the yellow minions, and you have the purple minions, right?
Love the minions.
Yeah.
That's right.
So if we want the minions to do their job, to do their work, because it's the bacteria that's doing all the signaling in our body. So if we feed them the right foods, they're not going to fall asleep, and they're not going to turn purple, and they're not going to turn against us. So you want to feed them nutritious food that's anti-inflammatory so that the immune system can also do its job.
Very nice. I like when doctors actually reference animated characters. That's always lots of fun. Listen, we'll end this with both of you answering, giving your thoughts. What other factors help? Nick, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I like the alphabet of vitamins. There's some great nutrients that can support our immune system. We live in the northern latitude here in Canada, which means that we've got less exposure to vitamin D in the sun. So most people that we actually test in clinic often have very low, out of range levels of vitamin D. So we know that's kind of a no-brainer for us. We need to support that one. Vitamin C has been shown to be very effective for the seasonal cold and flu and things like that. Vitamin A, vitamin E are other great ones. And then there's some great herbs that are often recommended too.
Reishi mushroom we love to use, oil of oregano, black cumin seed oil. So there's so many different things that we can have just in our cupboards and in our disposal, like in our toolkit, so that we can use it during those times.
And if we look at what that's doing, essentially it's helping to calm that inflammatory storm that's showing up as a result of these invaders that are activating our immune system. So if we can get that under control, it plays a huge role in helping support us.
Well, there is some truth, though, too, as you were sharing with us, that laughter and just peace of mind and good sleep as well helps. And so we appreciate your input there.
Yes, and maybe watch all the Minion movies. That's good laugh, eh? Guys, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here. Before we go, though, let's give just a few seconds about what you guys do and all the work you do online as well.
Yeah, so we actually both, Dr. Sonia and I, have a podcast each, and we're in the middle of working on ours for ourselves as well. So we do a lot of educating. I mean, that's a big part of our practice, but obviously we also have a physical location. We're doing different therapies like IV and boosting people's immune systems, detoxification, fixing gut health and nutrition, and
a lot of hormone support, which we all need, and kids' health as well.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you for being with us here. We are here on West Broadway in the Kitsilano area, Divine Elements with Dr. Nicholas Jensen. Dr. Sonia Jensen, thank you.
Thank you.
This health and wellness segment has been sponsored by NRX Black Oregano, combining high-potency antiviral black seed oil with wild oregano oil and immune-enhancing vitamins A and D.
Well, we find ourselves in Yaletown at a wonderful Japanese restaurant that's been around since 2003. We are with the owner, Justin, and excited to have some food from your great restaurant.
Thanks, Lita.
So you're going to let us know what Izakaya is in particular to start.
An izakaya. Well, an izakaya is basically a Japanese pub. We incorporated the name izakaya into Hapa Izakaya back in 2003 because most Japanese restaurants kind of all look the same. Same red lanterns, same glass sushi display case, and we wanted to stick out a bit. And so that's the izakaya. They're fun, lots of energy. They're not quiet little places. Lots of shouting going on.
And I will say, great lighting. You come in here at night. I love your lighting here. You actually don't really have an appetizer main course thing, do you? Because I've been here, Lita's been here a bunch of times. It's just, here's everything we got.
Yeah, it's izakaya food's almost tapas-like. Small plates. Yeah. There's not one main, one appy. It's people generally share things so that they can try a lot of different, sample a lot of different food instead of just one big piece of protein. You lead us through what we've. I can't wait to eat. So. No. Right here we've got probably the #1 dish all time in Hapa Izakaya. It's ebi mayo and deep fried prawns, spicy mayonnaise sauce. I wouldn't say probably, by far the #1 dish that most people think of when they think of Hapa. Right over here we have sashimori, a mixed sashimi plate. And this one has the 5 kinds, so we've got some local sockeye here. This one is local albacore, ahi tuna, probably from Hawaii. We have some scallop from Japan in front, and we have hamachi, also known as yellowtail here. So delicious. And over here, saba, which is
What is that?
called mackerel. Is mackerel.
Okay, mackerel. Okay.
This one comes from Norway. It's really cold up there in the ocean, and so they develop a lot of fat, which gives it a lot of flavor. And
The good fats for you.
the good fats, and then when
what do you got
whip
going
this
here?
thing out, we torch it. This is another one that we're famous for, is torching it. It's already cured, so you could eat it this way or as sashimi, but this just adds some texture to it. And you can hear it pop a bit. And some people like it really done, so it's almost cooked, but it's just seared, and again, just changes the texture, and it's quite good.
Do you let your guests play with that?
Generally not.
Definitely
Jen?
not either one of us.
You've got to be here maybe 10 times before you're in that right.
You could get a nice cup of sake here too, and for people that may not know a lot about it, you want your first time having that. It's almost like losing your virginity. You want your first time, hopefully, to be okay. And you talk about people come in and they go, "Wow, I don't know anything about it, but I've had really bad sake." So
It has, or people have. Unfortunately, too many.
Yeah.
I think over the last 10, 15 years, and I'd like to think we helped with that. Some of our colleagues in the industry, our peers, promote premium quality sake and chilled.
Yeah.
For the past 50 years, it was quite often not the greatest quality. And
Lighter fluid comes to mind.
I've used that term, and heated up. And they do have hot sake in Japan, especially in the winter. But a lot of it is drank chilled, not necessarily ice cold, but chilled.
Yeah.
And for a lot of Japanese, heating up a good sake would be the equivalent to heating up a good scotch. You know, just it'd be horror. You know, so yeah. So we could try some of that later if you like.
I would not say no to that.
Yeah. Thank you.
So this one in front of us, is that a Japanese dish?
This is, well, the Japanese call it ishiyaki.
Okay.
Ishi means stone, yaki, you hear that in a lot of Japanese cooking. Yaki udon, yakisoba, yakitori, just means to cook or grill. Originally a Korean dish. Any Korean viewers will be like, that's ours. But just like Japan, like here, they're influenced by food from all over the world. And the Japanese love Korean food, love Chinese food, love Italian food, French food.
So you've done something a bit different?
Not a little bit. We put, you don't see a lot of chipotle used or curry in a Korean one. So this, we have multiple versions of this, but this one's the chipotle beef curry ishiyaki. And so we little curry on top, chipotle on top, the egg, and we mix it here. Usually the bowl's a little bit hotter when we make it up, but
Safety first.
a little safety first, yeah. But you can see the
lovely.
and with any so the Koreans would call this bibimbap, but
Oh, that smells incredible.
so
Wow.
again, usually you'd be hearing this sound of popping and making noise and all that, but it's still incredibly hot. You don't want to lean against it.
No.
Wonderful. It smells good. Oh, and I know Jim's been eyeballing this.
I had this last time I was in with some friends. This is actually a really good take on what looks like a traditional pizza.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of people think pizza, Japan, what? But I mean, I think Domino's is probably it's one of their bigger markets, and yeah, Japanese love their pizza. This one we've kept it fairly straightforward. It's just on a flatbread. We've got chicken, teriyaki, and there's a little bit of nori, Japanese seaweed on top. But it's quite nice. But Japanese pizzas can be, often see corn on them, potato, you name it. Of course, squid and octopus.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course,
There's
but-
no rules for pizza.
No, that's the beauty of it. So what we have here, guys, is our takezake. Take means bamboo in Japanese.
Okay.
Zake is sake when you conjugate things in Japanese. I'm not going to get into grammar. So takezake, and these are called ochokos, the Japanese cups. So
okay.
they're made by this little old couple in Chiba outside of Tokyo. And I'll pour that there.
Nice pour there, Justin.
Thank you. I sometimes overflow. Hey, almost. And
Okay.
I love it when our guests overflow it and
Yeah,
need to order more.
beautiful.
But,
That's a good plan.
Yeah, great product
All right.
from Japan. A nice premium chilled sake. So we'd say kampai.
Kampai.
Cheers.
Kampai. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Wonderful. Now, as we're about to cheers, we're also going to talk to you a little bit about the changing times right now and what Hapa Izakaya is doing.
Yeah, it is challenging, not just for us, but all of
Everybody,
our peers in the industry and other industries. You know, the people that clean the restaurant are suffering even. While we're closed to the public, we're doing like a lot of places. We're fortunate to have signed up for some delivery services. So you can always check our website to see, or check your favorite delivery company out there. There's a good chance we're on it, but or just go to our website.
Excellent. Buddy, I know that the city, as we said, is kind of shut down right now, so we appreciate you being here today to let us keep up some of the traditions on our show for our viewers out there during this challenging time. So let's have a little more of this, and then we're definitely going to eat some food.
Cheers to your good health.
Yes,
Thanks,
cheers.
Lita.
Everybody,
Thanks,
cheers.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Come by.
Well, we're back here on West Broadway in Kitsilano, where we started the show.
That's right. Now, before we leave, we want to, of course, remind you to check out our episodes and follow us on social media, our YouTube channel, all at Our City Tonight.
For all past episodes, we'd also love to hear from you, so definitely message us. But we also want to make note that we want to do a shout out to all our sponsors, like Bobo's Salon and Dr. Morel and...
Oh, Matt Kerr, Team Kerr, Anorex Botanicals.
As well as Youngblood with Brittany Ivins. All of these people you can check out on our credits at the end of the show. A lot of them are, in fact, doing business online, so you can certainly continue to support all these great folks.
And we want to thank them for supporting us as we all continue to adapt to what's going on now. Boy, it sure is loud out here for no traffic taking place. Anyway, we continue on, and we thank you for watching and your support. I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins. I'm going to say stay safe and wash your hands.
That's right, and practice social distancing. We'll see you on the next edition of Our City Tonight.
Sponsorship for the Health and Wellness segment is provided by Anorex Botanicals Limited.
Inside Real Estate segments are brought to you by Team Kerr, real estate advice for life. Outdoor wear for Jim and Lita provided by Helly Hansen, alive since 1877.
Some of my clothing has been provided by Blushing Boutique, located in downtown Vancouver and online. Youngblood Mineral Cosmetics provided by Soluzione Spa Products.